These are the craziest penalty mind games in football history. First off, let's talk about that time Martinez tricked Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes. When Cristiano Ronaldo returned to Man United, Bruno Fernandes wasn't ready to give up his duties just yet. So when Man United got a last-minute penalty against Aston Villa, the goalkeeper tried to play tricks by telling CR7 to take it.
I did say we would see who would be taking the penalty for Manchester United, whether Fernandes or Cristiano Ronaldo.
But being a master of mind games, Ronaldo let his boy Bruno take it.
Bruno Fernandes!
But he embarrassed the GOAT by shooting the ball into space.
Whoa. Puts it into orbit.
Mission abort. Repeat. Mission abort.
At least Ronaldo kept his pride intact. Unlike Ederson, who tried messing with Saka and got burnt. When Saka stepped up to take a penalty against City, Ederson thought he could mess with his head by pointing to the direction he wanted the ball played. But when you want to play mind games, you gotta put your money where your hand is. So it's safe to say mind games aren't Ederson's strong point. Unlike Salah, who got into the head of his teammate Mane. 5 minutes into the 2021 AFCON final, Egypt conceded a penalty against the Teranga Islands of Senegal. But just as Sadio Mane was getting ready to play the spot kick, his teammate Mo Salah snitched by telling the goalkeeper where he would play it.
And some inside information to Abu Gabal about the penalty.
Angered by this, Mane went to meet both of them and pointed at the spot he was going to play it.
A much bigger penalty now, and it is Senegal who missed the opportunity, and a wonderful save from Abu Gabal again.
But Mane knew he couldn't let this betrayal slide, so when the match went to a penalty shootout, he stepped up to score the last kick that won Senegal the cup.
Saved now. Salah can't bear to watch. Mane!
Damn. Mane gave his teammate hope, only to break his heart at the last second. But for Gian Matinho, Cristiano Ronaldo helped him to overcome his fear of penalties. Matinho missed a crucial penalty kick for Portugal at Euro 2012.
Now can Iker Casillas bail out his Real Madrid club teammate Alonso after his saved spot kick? He can! Moutinho denied.
So when it was time for penalty kicks in the quarterfinals of Euro 2016, he was afraid of letting his country down again. But his captain, CR7, played a sneaky trick on his mind by telling him this.
Anda bater. Tu bates bem. Perdemos que se foda. Anda. Solidariedade. Vai. Solidariedade. Tu bates bem.
He listened, stepped up, and converted his penalty kick with confidence. Love or hate him, CR7 is a true leader. But his insane mentality had no answers for Diego Alves' mind games. It all started in 2015 when CR7 played a penalty against Valencia. Their goalkeeper, Diego Alves, was trying to put him off by talking trash and pointing to the direction he wanted it played. Ronaldo dunked on him by playing the penalty in the same direction he was pointing. So when the two met in the next match, Alves challenged Ronaldo to round 2 of their duel. He told him, "I dare you to put it to the right." And Ronaldo, being Ronaldo, wanted to show him who's boss. But this time around, Alves dived to the exact spot he pointed and blocked Ronaldo's penalty.
Has to score, really. And doesn't. Diego Alves for the save. And it stays at 2-0.
At least Alves was just trying to outsmart Ronaldo. But for Emi Martinez, his antics made him the most hated man in France. After an entertaining 3-3 draw in the 2022 World Cup final, the game went into penalties to decide who was king of the world. Tension was high, fans were biting their nails, and the fate of the GOAT debate was at stake. But despite all this, Emi Martinez seemed unfazed by the gravity of the whole thing. After blocking Coleman's penalty, he was ready to do anything to make sure Messi won the World Cup. So, when Tchouaméni stepped to take his penalty, he kicked the ball away and kept trash talking. Despite trying to be tough, all that blabbing got into his head and he put it wide. Who knew being a prick could be this effective? No wonder he did a weird dance after it worked. Now that's 6 out of the 25 craziest penalty line games. Wait till you see what Neymar did to a keeper at our number 11 spot. But before we get there, let's take a look at how Rudiger snitched on his best friend. After fighting to a 1-1 draw at the Etihad, the Champions League quarterfinal match between Manchester City and Real Madrid ended in a penalty shootout. Relying on the support of the home fans, Man City were confident they could win the game. But little did they know Madrid had a Judas within their ranks. Before moving to Real Madrid, Antonio Rudiger and Mateo Kovacic were best friends.
Your best friend in football?
My best friend in football is Mateo Kovacic.
So when Kovacic was about to take this penalty kick, Rudiger pointed to the direction he was going to play it.
Deegan now faced. He saved it! Kovacic denied.
Amazingly, Lunin followed his advice and blocked the shot. To add insult to injury, Rudiger was the one who scored the last penalty to win the game for Madrid. Damn. Rudiger not only got the winning goal, but the winning snitch. But betraying your friendship for your team is one thing. Pulling off a dumb strategy that backfires, well, that's a different kind of embarrassing. Kepa thought he hacked a cheat code in saving penalty kicks. He moved to the right-hand side of the goalpost in a bid to trick Van Dijk into playing the ball to his left. But Van Dijk showed him that he was smarter by playing the ball right where he was standing.
Elegant centre-half, Virgil van Dijk to take the next. And Van Dijk left nothing to chance.
Well, for a game that was 0-0 after 2 hours of football.
Talk about being beaten at your own game. But at least he didn't mock his opponents like Joe Hart did. Back in 2012, Joe Hart was in the form of his life. He was literally like a brick wall. He could repel every attack. So when Italy faced England in Euro 2012, Hart was certain that no one would score on him. The Italians and the English played out a goalless draw, and it was down to penalty kicks to decide the winner. Brimming with confidence, Joe Hart stuck out his tongue to try to mock Pirlo as he stood over the ball. He kept moving around to put Pirlo off, but just as he dived to stop the penalty, his ego slowly came crashing down as the Italian pulled off one of the most audacious penalties you'll ever see.
But he knows that really
Si muoveva molto, faceva dei gesti strani.
he misses, his country will be in trouble. Jiggling up and down on the line. This is Pirlo. Oh, how cheeky is that? The float.
Damn. You want salt with that chip, Joe? Now listen, embarrassing your lousy opponent is cool, but getting into Messi's head? That's not something you see every day. In the 2022 World Cup, the referee gave an imaginary penalty to Argentina after Messi was barely touched. But instead of worrying, Szczesny told his teammates, "Relax, guys, it's just Messi." Seeing the imminent disrespect, Messi put on his game face and was locked in. Unfortunately, Szczesny showed him no mercy and pushed the penalty away. But let's be serious, that was never a penalty. To put it into perspective, listen to what the goalkeeper had to say.
No, I didn't. We spoke before the penalty. I told him I can bet him €100 that he wasn't going to give it. So I've lost the bet against Messi. I don't know if that's allowed at the World Cup. I'm probably going to get banned for it. I don't care right now.
So you bet it?
Pay him either.
You're not going to pay him 100?
No, he doesn't care about €100. Come on.
He has enough.
Yeah, I think so.
Still, Messi might not be the best penalty taker, but Karim Benzema lives for moments like this. Back in 2022, Real Madrid were losing 4-2 in a Champions League semifinal against Man City. With the game almost over, they got a lifeline when the referee awarded them a penalty. Karim Benzema was the club's penalty kicker and stepped up to take it. But there's some backstory here. In the last game they played before this match, Benzema missed 2 penalties because of this crazy mind game by one goalkeeper.
Up steps Benzema, and he saved it.
He saves it again. So
Naturally, he was pretty low on confidence. So, Man City's goalkeeper thought this was going to be an easy catch. But with the fate of his club in his hands, Benzema did this.
In the semi-final, huge the deficit again. Oh, what about that? He's the coolest man in European football.
He did this after missing 2 penalties. He has ice in his veins. But for Cristiano Ronaldo, his experience with Diego Alves taught him never to fall for tricks again. When Cristiano stepped up to take a penalty for Man United, the goalkeeper wanted to recreate the Diego Alves incident. So he started trash talking, pointing to where he wanted him to play it. But Ronaldo said, "Nah, I'm never making that mistake again."
So he's going to step up. Ronaldo with it.
Now, I'm not going to act like that wasn't cold, but it proves that these goalkeepers will do anything to stop a player from scoring. Just like the time Ter Stegen did jumping jacks to mess with Joselu's head. I get that he's trying to distract Joselu, but who told him yoga exercises were the way to do it? After he was done with his comedy show, Joselu played the ball straight down the middle. I bet Ter Stegen regrets embarrassing himself like that. But there was nothing shameful about Mbappe's fortune-telling skills. Just as Remy Cabella was about to take a penalty against PSG, Kylian Mbappe pointed the direction he was going to play it. Areola followed Mbappe's advice and blocked the penalty.
The standoff Guichard. Cabella steps up, and Areola saves it. Kylian Mbappe is telling Areola which way.
Who knew Mbappe could see into the future? But why predict the future when you could be like Neymar and just ask? I know penalties are serious business, but it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of fun sometimes. When Neymar was about to take this penalty, he asked the keeper to choose which corner he wanted it played. Pointing to his right, the keeper chose to dive in the opposite direction, thinking Neymar was pranking him.
Ah là, vous avez vu le geste de désolation de Lucas Pira.
If only he'd taken Neymar's offer seriously. But even such a nice moment between player and keeper isn't the funniest thing on this list. Getting tricked not once but twice by the same keeper. Well, you're gonna have to wait for our number 1 pick for that. Before we get there, let's look at a player who takes mockery to a whole different level. As a goalkeeper, it's always a bad idea to play mind games before a penalty kick, because when it backfires, it usually looks like this. Damn. I would have thrown hands if a player did me dirty like that. But that kind of disrespect is nothing compared to a player reinventing the Panenka. We've seen Pirlo and Benzema disgracing goalkeepers with cold Panenkas, but what this guy did, I don't know what that is, but it's either a failed attempt at one, or he just invented a new move.
To give Brisbane the lead again.
Either way, it completely made a fool out of that goalkeeper, which reminds me of the time a Portugal goalkeeper made a fool out of David Beckham. After the Euro 2004 match between England and Portugal got to penalties,
20 minutes of football cannot...
David Beckham came first to take his spot kick, but the Portuguese goalkeeper Ricardo kept trying to distract him. Unfortunately, the goalkeeper's antics were too much for Beckham as he skied the penalty kick. There's no point at looking around on the ground, Beckham. The ball has probably landed on the moon by now. But Ricardo did something even crazier in the shootout. He stopped a penalty without gloves, and then scored the match-winning penalty.
Ricardo now, what a story this will be! The goalkeeper saved and scored and won the game!
What a legend. But this next goalkeeper literally scared the crap out of his opponent. When Mason Holgate was about to take his penalty, the goalkeeper gave him a death stare. It was so intense you could see the fear in Mason's eyes. It's either he conjured some spirits, or he looked right into the player's mind. I can't believe Mason just kicked the ball at him like that. But all he did was scare his opponent, unlike Joe Hart, who asked to take a penalty. While Man City were losing a penalty shootout to AS Roma, Joe Hart asked his coach to take a penalty kick. Amazingly, the coach allowed him to take it, and he blasted the ball into the roof of the net like prime CR7. But when it was time for him to do his goalkeeper duties, he started laughing at Keita as he was preparing to take his spot kick. Thinking it was a joke, Keita smiled back, but Hart kept telling him he knew where he would play it. Like a cat out of a bag, he dived to his right to block the penalty kick. We feel your pain, Keita. That was just unbelievable. And with that, we've made it to our top 5. Let's kick it off with a tale of revenge between Bruno and Haaland. Yassine Bruno guessed correctly and blocked Haaland's penalty. While trying to celebrate the save, he ran after Haaland shouting and mocking him. Unfortunately, karma hit him immediately, and Haaland was asked to retake the penalty after a VAR check. Wait, is he going to play it on the same side? Yeah, he does. And then goes to celebrate in front of the goalkeeper. Now that's how you be petty. But what this next player did misled the goalkeeper and the fans in the stadium. He ran like he was about to blast the ball into the net, but completely fooled the goalkeeper by kicking it with his other leg. I don't know what penalty style this is. Maybe you could tell me in the comments. But I know this next player has magical powers. When the opposition player was about to take his penalty, the guy in green points towards the penalty area and jumps. Shockingly, the opposition runs to the ball and does the same thing. Now, I don't want to sound crazy or anything, but was the player in green giving his keeper a hint? Or was he controlling his opponents using magical powers? One thing I know for sure, research helped Jordan Pickford get in the minds of his opponents. Anytime Jordan Pickford is in a penalty shootout, he always carries along a water bottle. To everybody, it looks like he just wants a sip of water. But when you take a closer look, it's filled with information about the penalty stats of his opponents. He used it against the US national team, Liverpool, and most recently against Switzerland in the Euros. He wrote on his bottle, "Dive left," for the Swiss captain Manuel Akanji. Sure enough, he did dive left to block the penalty, which ultimately sent England into the semis. But the craziest penalty mind game I have ever seen was when a goalkeeper tricked Benzema not once, but twice in one game. Back in the 2021-2022 season, Karim Benzema was in the form of his life. He kept scoring goal after goal as he hunted down the Ballon d'Or. But nothing could have prepared him for what the Osasuna goalkeeper did to him. In the 51st minute of the game, they gave away a penalty, and Benzema stepped up to take it.
Osasuna stay just one goal behind. Up steps Benzema, and he saved it!
Sergio Herrera pretended he was diving to the right, but dived to the left to block the penalty. 7 minutes later, Real Madrid was given another penalty, and this time Benzema was not going to fall for this keeper's tricks. So, when Herrera pointed to the left again, Benzema played it to the right, but the keeper blocked it.
Behind Real Madrid.
He is right.
Up steps Benzema, saved it!
And he saves it again.
Damn. I know deja vu is real, but I've never seen it happen this fast. Benzema became the first player to miss 2 penalties in a La Liga game since 2006. Which reminds me of the time Buffon made a crazy save to win Italy the World Cup, and when Jan Oblak made 3 saves in 3 seconds. These are just 2 of the craziest saves in football history. Click on this video to see more.